The decade of smart is truly upon us. Now let's bring the decade of smart to life about hearing about a truly inspiring endeavor to build the world's smartest city, Babcock Ranch, right down the road from here in Southwest Florida. While many cities around the world, as John pointed out, have major initiatives underway around things like smart energy, smart transportation, smart security, just to name a few, they're essentially tasks to modernize existing infrastructures and processes. But how would you go about designing, delivering, and evolving a next-generation city from scratch? Can you imagine the challenges they face in driving collaborative business planning and aligning technology across a vast ecosystem of providers to actually produce a highly interconnected, instrumented, intelligent system of systems, namely a city, which will forever be evolving in real time, right? A real city, real businesses, real citizens. Well, Syd Kitson, chairman and CEO of Kitson & Partners, is the visionary behind this highly significant endeavor and has a tremendous track record of managing millions of square feet of retail, office, and industrial space. And for those of you that are fans of the National Football League, you may recognize Syd's name. He had a notable career playing offensive guard for both the Green Bay Packers and the Dallas Cowboys back in the 1980s. So don't mess with Syd. Please join me in welcoming Syd Kitson.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Scott. But I can assure you, I have not intimidated anybody for a very, very long time. But thank you very much for having me here today. Take a look at this parcel of undeveloped land. What do you see? Well, here's what a leading landscape ecologist sees. Old-growth forests, stately wetlands, streams, rolling hills, and abundant wildlife. He calls it a place richer than many people could imagine exist anywhere. He also says, if it existed today, it would be the crowning glory of America's national parks. This is how the land looked 400 years ago. Now, here's the exact same view of the exact same land today. Eric Sanderson's book, Mannahatta, tells how the 55 separate and unique ecological neighborhoods that existed on Mannahatta Island were eliminated to create today's New York City neighborhoods. And here's how they did it. They clear-cut forests, dredged and filled wetlands, leveled the rolling hills, and rerouted the brooks and streams to flow under the city streets. The people responsible for this transformation didn't think that they were doing anything wrong at all. In reality, that's exactly what happened. They thought in terms of the frontier, the place where civilization ended and the wilderness began. They believed that conquering the environment and pushing the frontier forward was civilization's mission. They never looked back. But maybe they should have. Some of these conquered frontiers came back to haunt us. As an example, we have chemicals in the soil, acid rain, endangered species, polluted air and polluted water. Eric Sanderson concludes, one thing is certain, our way of living is patently unsustainable and will have to change. Okay, now take a look at this very large parcel of land. It's about 125 miles southwest of us in Charlotte County, near Fort Myers and the west coast of Florida. Now what do you see? Well, here's what Audubon of Florida sees. Virtually every inland, freshwater, and upland habitat in the state. And that includes hardwood forests, stately wetlands, broad prairies, pine flatwoods, cypress swamps, and freshwater marshlands. The land is 4 times the size of the island of Manhattan. That's over 143 square miles. And to a great extent, this is how the land looked 400 years ago. It is also how it looks today. And for the vast majority of the land, how it will look forever. This is Babcock Ranch. Babcock Ranch is an opportunity to preserve Florida's past and an opportunity to build the world's future. And it all began with the largest land purchase in Florida history. 73,000 acres, or 80% of the land, became the Babcock Ranch Preserve. And it contains countless examples of the most environmentally sensitive habitats in Florida, as well as the original working ranch. The preserve is also unique because it will be maintained and protected by a private-public partnership, the first such partnership ever created in the state of Florida. Also, the purchase completed an environmental wildlife corridor, which now stretches from Lake Okeechobee in the center of the state all the way to the Charlotte Harbor estuary on the Gulf Coast. Now, in the southwest corner of the original 91,000-acre ranch, sitting on about 17,000 acres of land, or an area larger than the island of Manhattan, we're building a new city. A city to be designed with a preserve within a preserve, with nearly half of those 17,000 acres designated as green space. And it will be new green space, since more than 90% of the planned development is located in areas that have already been impacted by ranching, mining, or farming. Babcock Ranch will be the first sustainable, environmentally sensitive city built with a net positive environmental impact. It will be a living laboratory, a proving ground for emerging smart city technology, the first of its kind in Florida and maybe even the world. So, how will Babcock Ranch be a smart city? Well, services that once operated independently, like energy, water, transportation, safety, security, communication, and education, among others, will now share information and coordinate with each other for efficiency, quality, and risk mitigation. A smart city able to recognize and even anticipate its own changing needs and requirements through new data. Data generated and flagged by change management software. That's how smart cities stay smart. And that's exactly what John Iwata was just talking about. IBM's Smarter Planet initiative has identified software as the invisible thread enabling today's most innovative products and services. And for us, that rings a bell. You know, 100 years ago, this country's first great environmentalist, John Muir, said, "When we try to pick out anything by itself, we find that it is bound fast by 1,000 invisible cords that cannot be broken to everything in the universe." So, here you have the most respected technological company in the world, IBM, and the most respected conservationist of all time, John Muir, both expressing the same idea in nearly the same words. Everything is interconnected. And once you acknowledge those connections and realize that everything you do has implications for every other thing you do, then you've got to identify the technology that ties the physical and digital worlds together. It's the only logical way to manage all those interconnections. And that's the basis for our partnership with IBM. Rational Tools offers us a disciplined, pragmatic, and measurable approach to managing unanticipated change, whether that change is technical, social, economic, or political. It offers us a common platform and language for collaboration and communication across individual systems. We're now using Rational Focal Point for our business and technology planning and to help us prevent budget overruns and scheduling conflicts. And more Rational Tools will be added as the city grows and operations become more complex. Our ultimate goal is the design of a comprehensive system of systems architecture where components are interconnected and mutually supportive. We believe this is the key to sustainability, the guarantee that the city of Babcock Ranch will evolve and adapt, enabling us to continue to be Florida's city of tomorrow. Start thinking big, start considering the entire picture all at once, and you'll find your way to some pretty revolutionary ideas.